Good evening. Welcome to Balance Orlando. Today is Rolf session 4 with the wonderful Devil, our client, over the last 3 sessions. So the first 3 sessions we worked on the superficial or sleeve part of the body where we are basically going to be doing a deep cleaning, a deep, a deep cleaning of the body. But before we can vacuum and really work on the inside, the spine, the head, we needed to work on the sleeve, the legs, the arms. So now we've kind of pushed those sleeves, those legs and arms to the side, and now we can really work in the spine, in the pelvis, and in the neck. So today begins the first of 4 sessions called the Core Series. And our physical geography will be on the inside of the legs from the inner heel through the tibialis posterior to the adductor muscles and many of the adductor muscles attached to a bone called the pubic symphysis. So this is our territory for today. And Debble's going to briefly explain what's been happening in her body since we saw her the last session.
Well, I was been great until, well, not until, I was great. And Friday night I went out dancing and I exacerbated the foot issue a little bit.
Which foot?
The left foot.
Okay.
But only a little bit. Like by today, Monday, it was just how it's been before since you worked on it. And I was categorizing, I was saying if I would have put the pain that I was in before as high as a 9, it's like down to like a 2. So it's an amazing difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. And so we also worked on the sides of your body. So from the levator scapula, the rhomboids, the infraspinatus, some of the other rotator cuff muscles in the hips, were they sore afterwards?
No, they were, I felt invigorated.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to know. So this is a session where we will primarily have Debo on her side, and we're going to first, after careful analysis, have Debo lay on her left side so I can have access to her left inner leg. So I'm going to take off your sock, Debo. I'll take it off for you, and then in 20, 25 minutes, we'll put that sock on and take off our right sock. So let's get to your left foot. Certainly. So now we have access to Devil's left inner ankle, and I'm looking to see if Devil's foot, at least the heel, wants to pop up, or do the toes want to come up. And you can see here that Devil pretty much has a neutral foot. So I'd like to start with the heel and progress to the knee. And so I'm going to reach out to Debo and ask her how the pressure is as I work on her inner heel.
It feels good.
It feels good. Okay. Now, there might be some moments of discomfort. So when you do have those moments of discomfort, gently wiggle your toes or take your foot and flex it and extend it, okay? So I'm right above Debo's inner ankle, and I'm working on the beginning part of her tibialis posterior. And if it gets too tight, Debo's going to gently wiggle her toes. But I feel a resistance already from the ankle. But as I slowly progress to the knee, it gets a little bit better, and I can kind of sink into her tibia.
Yeah, it felt more tender closer to the ankle.
Okay. And again, I'm going towards the knee, right on the edge of the tibia, called the tibialis posterior. It felt very good. In the for about 6 or 8 inches in the middle part of Devil's inner leg. And as I head slowly to the knee, there's more resistance. What is your experience, Devil?
It does feel a little bit more tender here, but not as bad as it did, or as much as it did close to the ankle.
Okay. So with my right hand, with my right thumb, or with my knuckles, I can take a broader stroke and work on a lot of the inner leg muscles. And with my left hand, I'm going to gently flex and extend Devil's foot.
So cool, I feel stuff moving.
Where do you feel stuff moving?
Like along the tibia.
Okay. Just a couple more times. So you're saying when there's movement, you can feel more stuff moving.
It's a combination of that and the work you're doing. It's like it feels like everything's kind of falling into place.
Okay. So
especially around my knee, actually, like my lower knee area.
Your lower knee, like below the kneecap.
But on the inside.
Okay.
Like kind of actually close to where the scar is. Yeah.
So I'm doing two things at once. With my left hand, I'm starting at the heel where there have been some known issues of soreness and slowly progressing up, sinking into the bottom of the foot, making the shape of a banana, while simultaneously taking my right thumb or knuckles and going on the edge of the tibia. As we know and we have discussed previously, the bottom of the foot is the beginning point of the fascia that starts at the heel, that goes to the calf muscles, the hamstrings, the gluteal muscles, and the lower back. So a nice tip is before you work out and you're coming out of bed, when you're first waking up, try to touch your toes. If it feels very tight, you might want to take a tennis ball and gently massage the bottom of the foot, of your foot, with the tennis ball or lacrosse ball. Some people even a baseball. Okay, we're going to do a couple more strokes and then we're going to progress towards the adductors. How is the pressure, Devil?
Feels good.
Okay. The bottom of the foot actually feels good. I can make the shape of a banana, so.
Yeah, it feels way different than when you first worked on it.
Also notice that if you have a tight heel and you're just palpating it, one of the first things you should do is just to massage the bottom of your foot with your hand or with a baseball, lacrosse ball, or tennis ball.
I use a tennis ball.
You do? Okay. Okay. So we're done with this lower leg. Next step is to look at your, I'm going to take your shirt off. I'm going to look at your sacrum, excuse me, your lumbar region. So I'm going to gently take your leg and we're going to pretend like we're walking but on our side. And I'm going to see how easy it is by looking at the movement and seeing how easy it is for the lumbar to swing. Any soreness or tightness when I take the leg back?
No, actually.
Okay. So the first thing I feel is with the top of my left hand, I'm grabbing the left IT band, and the left IT band feels very soft. It does not feel very tonic. It doesn't feel like it's firing. And this is a really good reason why Devil's leg can move back so easily. So now I'm going to just do just a gentle press straight down into the adductor compartment. and hold it here for about 30 seconds and ask Debo if there's any pain or soreness as I press from one side to the other. Any soreness or pain, Debo?
No, actually,
Okay.
a little tightness there.
Okay. The goal here for this bottom leg, the Debo's left leg, is for it to swing freely and easily without any glitches in the movement.
So I feel a little bit of tenderness as you get closer to the, yeah, like there.
Okay, so there's more tenderness as I head towards
Yeah.
the knee. And there's an interesting spot right on the inside of the leg, right above the knee. This is where many of the attachments of the adductor muscles connect to. So that can be a very sore and tender area
And that's also right where I had that.
where your scar is.
Yeah. It's always felt a little bit different on my left knee.
It's felt different on the inside of your
Yeah,
left knee
yeah,
compared to your right knee.
yeah.
Okay. Now, after a couple minutes of compression, going straight down for my vector, I'm now going to delineate the hamstrings with the adductor and the adductors with the quadricep muscles. So what I'd like you to do, Debo, is I want you to gently take your heel towards your buttocks and come back. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go in between. There's like a little space between your adductors. That far is fine. And your hamstrings. And let's do that again. Any soreness or pain here? Okay, come on back. And again. Good. And come on back. Two more times. One. Good. And two. And thank you. Now we're going to work the other space between the adductors and the quadricep. Okay, I'd like you to take your heel into your buttocks again. It's a little more tender. Okay, I'll put some more water.
The pressure was fine. I was just, telling you about the difference.
Okay, thank you. And again. Good. And come on back. Good. Okay. And again, two more times after this. Okay, one. And two. Very good. I'm going to come back and look at Debo's lumbar region. The leg is swinging a little bit easier, not by much, but there's a nice flow to it. There are no glitches. And I'm looking at the lumbars, and they're moving pretty well. Now, and the most interesting part of Rolf Session 4 is to work at the adductor attachments to the pubic symphysis. And so I'm going to hold here for about 2 minutes, and my vector is going to be at a 45-degree angle. Okay. Debo, how are we doing?
That is interesting.
That is interesting. Okay. So as I'm going down in a 45-degree angle, I'm also taking my right forearm and placing it right on Debo's lower leg. It's almost like scissors. I'm going in one direction towards her head and the other direction towards her foot. I'm also looking at the bottom of her heel. Does the heel want to pop up like this as I'm working on her attachments into the pubic symphysis? Now, there might be some tenderness here, Debo. Is that correct?
Um, when you say here, which here?
I'm sorry. That's a great question. So your lower leg, right there.
It is a little bit, but it's not very much.
Okay. So my goal here is to just kind of take out any rotations in the lower leg as I'm working on the proximal attachments of the adductor muscles into the pubic symphysis. And we'll hang out here another 45 seconds to a minute. It's a very interesting position. The key is for the practitioner is to have open communication, discuss with the client beforehand where their hands, knuckles, elbows will be working on for the upcoming session. Almost done, another 20 seconds. Ten more seconds. Good. I'm going to raise your shirt up a little bit more. So already I feel like I've given Debo like an additional 3 or 4 inches. It's moving a lot smoother.
Yeah, you can feel the difference.
Do you know where you're feeling the difference, Debo?
In my lumbars and my hip.
In the right lumbar or the left lumbar?
I think the right lumbar actually
Okay,
is the way I'm.
very
Also,
good.
I can just feel like how far back my hip is going
Okay,
when you're pulling it, and before it wasn't moving so far. And I mean, it felt like it was not letting me move it that far. It definitely feels looser.
now I'm compressing the adductor compartment of Debo's left inner leg. And remember, there's a little bit of soreness and tightness where at that one spot where your scar was. How does that feel compared to about 5 minutes ago?
Like, I feel like there's almost no swelling now.
Okay. Okay, so now I started at the heel, worked up to the knee, to the pubic symphysis, and now I'm working my way down. And I'm actually revisiting this area to see if there's any tightness, soreness, pain that we might have experienced, especially right by the ankle. How are we doing, Debo? Right here?
It's a lot better than it was when you were first in the ankle.
Okay. So I'm feeling it's a lot softer. It's easier to get inside of the tibia. I'm actually able to sink in more to the tibialis posterior, especially right above the ankle. Okay, so we have concluded with the left side, the inner side from the heel to the pubic symphysis and back of Devil's left side. So Devil will slowly come off the table and we're going to take a walk and she's going to tell us how she feels when walking. Okay, got it. All right. So whenever you are ready to walk, let's walk towards the door and back, and your chin is horizontal and you have a soft gaze looking forward, and let's take a walk and see what that left side is feeling like.
It's weird. I can feel more the tightness on the right side than the looseness on the left side. The left side almost feels floppy in comparison. It's so loose.
And let's walk one more time. And what I'm seeing is that as you're making steps, I'm seeing like your sacrum is a pendulum and it's going left to right, which then makes the buttocks go up and down. And this is what I like to see.
So I feel the tightness on the right side enough that I almost feel a little out of balance
Okay.
because the left side's going.
Okay, so this is a good time to work on your right side.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're working on Devil's right side, and her right leg is straight, and her left leg is supported by two pillows. And the first thing I see is that the toes and the heel are flat. So we're definitely in a neutral position. I'm going to gently tug onto the heel. And we're going to do the same thing as we did on the left side. We're going to start with the inner heel and go towards the knee by working on the inner leg muscles, especially focusing on the heel, the inner heel, and then finally we're going to work on the tibialis posterior. Already, I don't feel as much inflammation or muscularity or tonicity on this side compared to the left side. What is your experience, Devil?
Definitely better on this side.
Okay. So again, I'm just going to take my right thumb and make the shape of a banana as I then work on Devil's tibialis posterior. And what I'm experiencing is I'm not experiencing any trigger points, any mountains to overcome. It's just pretty smooth for the most part.
Yeah, it feels like there's nothing going on there.
So just taking Devil's foot into flexion and extension. Any soreness in the right inner heel? Okay, good. I'm going to have you to move your foot into flexion and extension for about 15 seconds. Excellent. And relax. So after we work the lower part of Devil's leg, we're going to come and see what the lumbars look like when we pick up the leg and take it back. Now on the left side, as you Remember, there was really no tightness on the outside left IT band, but I think there's a little bit of soreness or a little bit of tenseness more on the right side. Are you right or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed. Okay. So my bottom hand is right in the middle of Devil's leg, and there's a tenseness there that we were not feeling on the left side. So that just means that Devil, after her daily workouts, 5 day per week workouts, needs to get on that foam roller just for about a minute or two. How's the pressure here? A little sensitive? Okay. And now I'm going to look at the lumbars, and you can see here this leg is moving pretty well, but it has room for improvement. So now with a downward vector, I'm going to just press into the adductor compartment and ask Devil how the pressure is, any soreness or tightness.
A little bit close to the knee.
The same spot as the left side.
But not as bad, I think, as on the other side.
Okay.
That's good.
So for those of you who can't see that well, I'm starting right above the knee, and I'm going almost all the way to Deb's pubic symphysis. Then I'm going right down the middle, again to Deb's pubic symphysis, and then finally on the outside of the leg. And while I'm compressing or pressing down, I'm seeing if the ankle wants to pop up a little bit. I see it's popping up just a little bit, so I can take with my left knuckles, kind of push it down a little bit, and then just use my right hand to push down. And I found a couple spots right in the middle of your right inner leg where when I press, the leg wants to outwardly rotate, but we're preventing that by taking our knuckles, kind of pinning down the right ankle, right heel. And I can feel definitely a tightness right in your, this is more of your inner quadricep muscle, right in here.
It feels tender.
Okay, almost done. So what I'd like you to do, because it's a little tender, I'd like to encourage some movement. So you're going to take your right heel, and when you hit my leg, outside leg, you come back. We'll do this about 6 times. Good. Mm-hmm. 4 more times. Good. Okay, 2 more times, double. 1 and 2. Thank you so much, and relax. I'm just going to pin that right heel down and see if there's any improvement. There's a slight improvement, actually. I can actually sink into your leg a little bit easier, but knowing the tightness is right here. So I'm like right.
It still doesn't feel as bad as it did when you were first pressing on that.
Okay, so for those who don't, I'm like right down the middle of Devil's leg, right above the inner leg. Right there. Okay, so we're going to work again between the hamstring and adductor, and then the quadricep and adductor. So let's first start the space between the adductor and some movement work. So I'm going to have you take your heel in this position and back. We'll do that about 5 times. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Thank you, and just rest right here. And then we'll work on the other side, the delineation between the inner quadricep muscle and the adductors. And here we go again. You're going to take your heel towards your buttocks and come on back. And again. And again. Good. And come on back. And again. Good. And again. 2 more times. Excellent. You're going to relax, rest. I'm going to pin that ankle down again and see if there's any, still a little tension right in the middle. Okay. Now I'm going to take the right leg back towards me. We're going to go for a walk on our side. Okay. Doing pretty well. I feel there's a tightness though, right?
Yes.
There's a tightness right in, if we were to look at, if we were able to turn double over, there's a tightness right in here. This is preventing double from fully taking that leg back. So we're only going to do this a couple more times. I'm going to look, I apologize. We're going to look at the way the lumbars are moving. I'm going to take your shirt up a little bit. Good, right there. Good. 2 more times. 1. Okay. Thank you. Now we're going to work on the pubic symphysis. Okay, there we go. Double, how are we doing? Okay. And when I press right into the pubic symphysis, the heel barely moves. So I'm just going to use my left forearm just as an anchor. Again, we're using a 45-degree downward and proximal trajectory with double. And we're going to be here another 1 minute. Something I forgot to do on the other side is while pressing into the pubic symphysis where the attachments are, moving the leg at the same time. So I'm going to raise the table up. Come back. And then with my left leg, we're going to just take that leg back. I know this might feel a little weird, Debo. What I'm experiencing now is the tightness for you is right in here. So I'm I'm like almost next to still on the adductors, but closer towards the quadricep muscles, the vastus medialis. Are you feeling more tightness here or not so much? Okay, but let's get back. I apologize. Let's get back to the pubic symphysis. 2 more times. Good. Now we're going to look at the lumbars and see what the 2 to 3 minutes of work has done. So the first thing is I'm not feeling as much tightness on the right IT band, right in the middle of her right leg. And I'm going to take this back. And there's like a lot more ease in taking the right leg back. I'm not sure what your sensation is. Mm-hmm. Yes. So sometimes when you work on the balancing muscle, so if we're working on our adductors and we loosen those up, the balancing muscle, the iliotibial bands will also soften as well. So this is good. I'm going to try that. Do that one more time. Looking at the lumbars. Excellent. So now we'll slowly migrate back down to the ankle. And even as I press into the adductor compartment, the right heel pretty much is barely moving. So I'm going to place my palm right on her right heel. We still have a little soreness from here. That's something to work on for next couple sessions. And I'm right in the middle of Debo's adductor compartment, equidistant to the hamstrings and to the quadricep muscles. Now working on the lower leg, right on the edge of the tibia. We're working primarily the tibialis posterior and other inner leg muscles. And Debo's going to just wiggle her toes for about 10 seconds. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and thank you. Coming back to the beginning point, to the heel, encouraging some flexion and extension. So with the right foot, I'm making the shape of a banana. I'm happy. And we are going to have Debo slowly come up from the table and take a walk to the door a couple of times and tell us how this right side is feeling. And hopefully it matches with the wonderful sensation she felt several minutes ago when I initially worked on her left side. And Debo's going to take a walk several times to the door and see what that right side is moving like. Yes. And what I could tell just from you walking initially, those first 5 steps, is that the pendulum is moving even more to the right side, a little bit higher. That's representing the sacrum. Let's do that one last time. Good. Hopefully that's close to matching the left side.
Feels good.
Okay. All right. So the last thing we're going to do, we have a couple more minutes, 5 more minutes. We're going to work the hips. The hips are going to be the transition to the next part of our Rolf session, which is 5, which is working the psoas muscles. So let us work initially the left side first. So you're going to lay on your right side.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So now I'm palpating the last rib, palpating the hip, and we could see a little bit more separation, a little bit more length. So this is, we're here, and I like to take it back about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to have you to very gently raise, we're going to do the clamshell, where the heels are glued together, and we're going to slowly lift about 4 to 5 inches the left knee and come on back. And again. Good. And again. How is the pressure, double?
Pressure's fine.
Okay.
I'm on the verge of laughing.
It's okay. Good. Laugh all you want. I'm right on the upper edge of her glutes on the left side. 2 more times. 1 and 2. Thank you. And relax. Still feeling the space between the last rib. I'm taking a broader stroke. I'm not using my finger pads. Thank you, Devil, for that recommendation over the last couple of sessions. And I want you to gently raise up just 2 more times. 1, come back down, and 2. Good. Now we're going to extend our leg, keeping the knees together. And I'm going to give you a cue. Okay. This is going to be interesting, city of Orlando and worldwide. So let's have you to gently extend that top leg. I'm going to use a broader stroke so I don't have you laughing too much tonight. So right now I'm on Devil's gluteus maximus, starting from the top, from her hip, and going all the way down while she's extending her leg. Good. And come on back and relax. Now I'm just palpating. I feel a lot less trigger points. But the trigger points I feel are in the upper part. So what we're going to do is take the pillow away, and we're going to take, Devil's going to take her knee and take it into her chest, and then she's going to come back. Good. And while she's doing that, I'm going to take the hip muscles down as she takes the knee into her chest. Good. And again. It's like I'm trying to smooth out a bumpy road. That's one of the best analogies I can think of right at this moment. Good. And relax. I'm going to see how well we're doing. So people, it's Devil's hip moves very well in an anterior tilt and a posterior tilt. I mean, to be really perfectionist, we're going to take, it's in the posterior tilt where there's a little restriction. In the anterior tilt, not as much. So I'm going to have you take your knee into your chest 4 more times. 1, good, and come on back. And 2, good. And 3, good. And 4. Excellent, come on back. We're going to take the pillow, put it between your knees again. And I'm just going to check to see how easy, how mobile the hip is. And the trigger point that really sticks out is right in here. So I'm going to have you extend, you'd extend your top leg 4 more times. 1, come on back, 3 more times. How is the pressure? Okay, good. 2 more times. Excellent. And come on back. Much better. Still a little bit of tightness as I go into a posterior tilt here, but Rome was not built in a day. And you have your foam roller, and I'm going to palpate. I apologize.
Me too.
The last rib with right here. And so we have giving you about almost an inch and a half of space. I just want to have her lower back long from the erector spinae to the tibialis, into the quadratus lumborum. So the last thing I'm going to do is just to gently kind of coax that hip away from the rib. What are you feeling right now when I take?
Like I'm on the verge of laughing, and a lot of times when I laugh, the muscle tightens, so that's why I'm breathing, trying to breathe through it and not laugh.
And that's a cue for me to take some pressure off. So let's just take 3 breaths right here. Nice inhales through the nose, exhales through the mouth. Good. 1. Good. 2. Excellent. And 3. Much better movement in your left hip area. So now we're going to change positions and you're going to lay on your right side. So now Debble's laying on her left side as I work on the right hip. And already as I place my fingers by her last rib, the 12th rib, I'm already noticing that there's a lot more space between her last rib and her hip. And even as I just do a gentle pass by on the hip, is less soreness, pain. I didn't say there's no pain or there's no soreness or trigger points, but it feels a lot less than on the left side. So
a lot less ticklish here.
A lot less ticklish. Okay. So I want you to very gently let's do a clamshell where the heels are glued together and you're going to gently raise 4 inches your right knee. Good. And again, thank you. Three more times. 1, 2, and 3. And relax. Now we're going to palpate the hip and see how easy it is to move. A little tightness as I go up right here. So that is like between gluteus maximus and medius. And as I go back down, you can feel a lot more resistance. Would you agree?
Yes.
Going in a posterior tilt. Okay. So what I'd like to do is you're going to take your knee back into your chest, the top knee into your chest. Here we go. City of Orlando, be prepared for Devil's wonderful laughs. You feel a tightness in here,
Oh,
Devil.
yes.
Okay. So that tightness is more the tensor fascia lata and gluteus medius. Good. Come on back. And again. Good. And come on back. 4 more times. 1. Excellent. 2. Good. 3. Thank you. And 4. Good. And relax. Really good space we've created, like an extra inch, inch and a half. I'm going to see how easy it is to take this right hip away from the ribs. That feels a lot easier. We're going to raise our top knee, make a clamshell 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. We're going to come back, and now we're going to, with the knees together, gently extend the leg and come back. We're going to do this about 5 times. And now I'm going to work primarily on Debo's right gluteus maximus. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Thank you. Hold it right there, please. Okay, come on back. Testing out the anterior tilt and posterior tilt. There are two main areas of tightness. One, which is like in the middle, right smack dab, right in your gluteus maximus, as I'm going into an anterior tilt. And for the posterior tilt, it's like the gluteus medius. So this means, I call this the samba, the salsa, the Zumba muscle. We're going to gently make another clamshell up. And I appreciate all those really good deep breaths. Good. 3 more times. 1. Thank you. So you can go out dancing again next weekend. We won't say where you went, but you had a good time with friends. Excellent. And last time. Thank you. Come on back. Checking out the anterior and the posterior tilt much better. But still, of all the spots in the right gluteus, it's right in the gluteus medius. So this side is a little bit tighter on the right side than it was on the left side. So some exercises to do are to, when you walk, start walking on your left foot first, or lead with the left foot first, and then the right foot. And then just be aware of when you're standing, are we putting more weight on the right foot or the left foot?
I usually lean more on my right side when I stand.
Okay.
And I try to switch when I become aware of it.
So something that really works for me is when I take a wider stance, I tend less to put more weight on one side or the other. Okay, so I want you to extend your knee 3 more times. 1. And as you're doing this, I'm trying to take your upper gluteal muscles and make them a little bit longer, make those erectors longer, make the quadratus lumborum longer. Good. 1 more time. Good. And come on back. I'm happy with the movement. Know that we need to take our foam roller or the Beastie ball or some type of round device with proprioception and work right in here. Okay, so now I'm going to have you lay on your back. So now we are at the conclusion of our session. We typically do the sacral cradle. I'm going to ask Debo to place both feet on the table. And I'm going to place my hand underneath the sheet. Debo's going to gently raise her hips, and I'm placing my hand right at the base of the coccyx and the sacrum. And Debo's going to make the same width between her knees as she does her feet. And I'm going to ask her to start her breath right below her belly button, taking a nice deep inhale through her nose and exhaling through the mouth. And we're going to do that 4 more times. Good. 3 more times. Excellent. 2 more times. And last time. And I'm going to have you extend your legs. And I'm going to wish you a great week. And I look forward to seeing you for Rolf Session 5, where we will continue going towards the head. So today, if we worked from the inner heel to the pubic symphysis, next time we will work in the psoas muscles and the groin muscle and up into the rectus abdominis. I want to thank you for staying this last hour with us for Rolf Session 4, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good evening.